It's tomato time. So I was intending on buying some paste tomatoes at our grocery store because they were on sale this week. I have paste tomatoes that I grew myself, but I ended up only with like 8, and I really wanted to make some sauce, so I was just waiting for a good deal. And I hadn't bought them yet. Instead, we went to Bradagom's to pick apples today, and they had a bushel of, they call these canning tomatoes, for $35. I thought that was a really good deal, and so I am going to start processing these. So all I do is, I don't like have a juicer or anything like that. All I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wash each tomato, take out the top, take out the bottom with a little core, cut them into quarters, and then stick them in my stock pot, and let them, put them on medium heat and cook them down on top of my stove. And then I will strain them to get rid of the skins once it cooks down for a little bit. I'm not peeling them ahead of time. I will strain them, and then with that juice mixture, my husband will turn into pasta sauce. I will show it as we do it. But this is how I'm going to do it. So I am going to stick them into a stock pot. I know a lot of people on YouTube will put it in a roaster and let it go all day on low heat. I don't have a roaster. I thought about buying a roaster, but you know what? My stock pot works just as well. So use what I have, and that's what I'm going to do. So let me start getting these cleaned. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to do both of these boxes right now. These are still, they're firm. They're not gonna like go bad today. So I just will be processing them for, see, they're not perfect. That's why they call them, canning tomatoes, but they're still nice and firm. So let's see, how many batches is it gonna take me to do a whole bushel of tomatoes? And the apples, they are, hi Sunny, she's in the background lurking. They're nice and firm, so we're gonna snack on these for the next couple of days, and then this weekend I will process them. I plan on making spicy apple rings or cinnamon apple rings, whatever you call them, and then maybe make some applesauce. I'm not for sure. This is about 20 pounds of apples right here. So let me get started on the tomatoes. I rinsed off a bunch of the tomatoes. Now I am going to core them, cut off any bad spots, and then put them, or quarter them, and then put them in my stock pot. I'm not for sure. This isn't the biggest stock pot out there, but I like it. I wish I could tell you how many quarts it is, but I don't know. I would say it's like a medium-sized stock pot. All right, this is all the tomatoes that were on that towel cut up, so I guess that's the perfect measurement of how many tomatoes will fit into my stock pot. I'm going to put this on the stove on a low heat, let it cook down. I'm not exactly for sure how long it's going to take. The ball book said 20 minutes for it to cook down, and then you strain it out. I think it's going to take a little more than 20 minutes. We'll see. I plan on putting this on a low heat because I don't want to add any water. I want the juices to cook down naturally. So if you start too high of a heat, it would scorch the bottom of your pan. So I'm going to start out low and see what happens, and check on that occasionally as I do some other stuff around the house. I'm estimating that it's going to take me 4 of these stock pots full to process the whole bushel of tomatoes. So I'm in no hurry. I will take the whole weekend if I have to. I want to process it in small batches because I have a smaller water bath canner that will only fit 8 pint jars. So I can really only do 8 sauce jars at a time. This will make way less than 8 sauce jars, I think. It's been a couple years since I've made tomato sauce, spaghetti sauce, and when I did, it was only a couple jars. It was a lot less tomatoes. So this will be a good test to see how many jars of spaghetti sauce will a bushel of tomatoes make. And these are not paste tomatoes. I said earlier that I personally am growing paste tomatoes. These are not paste tomatoes. I don't know what type it's called at the farm I went to this morning. They just called them canning tomatoes. They're a little juicy, but not like when I split them, there wasn't tons of extra juice. So I'm not really for sure what kind of tomatoes they are. I should have asked, but I didn't. So whatever they are, It was a good deal. They taste pretty darn good, and hopefully they will taste good as spaghetti sauce. The tomatoes have been cooking for 2 hours at a medium to low heat. On my stove, it's a number 4 on the dial. And so now I don't want the skins. So I've got my little food mill, and so I'm just gonna scoop out the chunks of potatoes, run it through the food mill, and put the juice back in and the skins in this bowl over here. So I'm just gonna do a scoop at a time. Yes, this is a very slow process, but it's the equipment I have and it's the equipment I'm going to use. If you're not familiar with this old-fashioned food mill, I need 2 hands, so I'm not gonna be able to demonstrate, but you just push it around and it squishes the tomato. And then you just keep doing that until you get it all squished that you want. And then it does a pretty good job. You know, it's similar to like an electronic food mill, except you're just using your hands, and it just takes a little longer. So I've had this food mill. I got it at a yard sale like years ago, and it works. It's just a little slower process. I'm not in a hurry. I enjoy doing this, so I don't mind that it takes a little more time. And I paid $0.25 for this, so it was a good deal. This food mill that sits on my pot. I finished pulling out all the skins, pressing it through my food mill. This is all the skins and seeds left behind. And as you can see, the pot is definitely at less than half full now. This is just basically tomato juice. Robert's gonna do the next step. He's gonna add, I think he's gonna cook down some onions and garlic and oregano. He's gonna put oregano in it and a couple other spices, and cook it down probably for a couple more hours until it gets to the sauce consistency that we like. Probably took me about 40 minutes to get all these skins out. I was taking my time. This was cooking the whole time, just so it, you know, keeps cooking down. It needs to keep cooking down to get all the water out. So yeah, a long process, but look at all those skins I got out. And that's a lot of juice. We are using the Betty Crocker old vintage, his mother's cookbook, Betty Crocker Italian tomato sauce. That's the recipe he's going to use. We're estimating we're going to have 8 cups of tomato juice. So we got onion, I got a dice, garlic, fresh basil. All right, my tomato sauce is done. 2 hours later, or more, around 3 hours. 2 hours where I had it like on a medium heat, and the last hour I had it on a low simmer because I was waiting for my water bath canner to boil, to get to boiling point. So I'm not for sure how many jars it's gonna make, maybe only a couple. Since I have not added any lemon juice to this, and I'm water bath canning it, I will add 1/4 teaspoon of citric acid, and that is for this acidity level for water bath canning. The Bell book will explain it, but to be able to water bath can tomato juice, you want to make sure the acid level is at a correct level, and so you add 1/4 teaspoon of citric acid to the hot jar. If you don't have citric acid, you can also do lemon juice. I think it's a tablespoon, but read the Ball book, it will tell you. So let's see how many pint jars this will make. I was hoping it would be making more than a couple, but it really did boil down. I mean, if you earlier remember, I had it all the way up here full of tomatoes, so let's see how many jars this will be. The tomato sauce actually filled 5 pint jars, so it was more than I was expecting. So now they're in the water bath canner, and it just got back to boiling. So it's to be water bath canned for 35 minutes. That's the longest I've ever had to water bath can anything. Normally I do jams and jellies, which are only like 10 minutes. So 35 minutes. And while that's water bath canning, I'm gonna clean up this dirty, dirty stove. I just pulled the second batch, and this is 7 jars. This is the 8th jar, but this is just, remember earlier I was talking about how I did can that one. This definitely was a lot less than that other one I canned. So I still have one more batch to go. So what I will do is I will add this leftover stuff to my third and final batch. So 7, so far I've got 5 plus 7. And I cut up all the rest of the tomatoes, so the third batch will be done late tonight. Good morning. It is the next morning, and I have 23 jars of pasta sauce. They all sealed. These are pint jars. I kind of got very busy when I'm making all the pasta sauce, so I'm not for sure what I actually recorded and what I didn't. But this recipe, my husband added all the spices. It was garlic, onion, oregano, sugar, a little salt, fresh basil because we have basil plant, and the sauce tastes amazing. It's just a basic sauce out of Betty Crocker, the kind that your grandma made, and it's awesome. So 23 jars from that bushel, working over 2 days, 3 batches. It took a lot of time, but on the other hand, it didn't, because most of the time the tomatoes were just on the stove simmering while I was doing other stuff. So I just worked around it, and I am very happy with my 23 jars. That will be 23 dinners for the upcoming year. It's just me and my husband, so 1 jar, this pint jar, is perfect for us. I know a lot of people can and quart, but for just the 2 of us, the pint jar is what we prefer. So thanks for watching. Please hit the like and subscribe buttons, and I will see you later.